I oft come here before a war, for there are very little distractions, very little sounds of the outside world. I come here to cleanse my mind and my soul and ask nature for forgiveness of what I'm going to do tonight in that ring. ECW Arena. My house. I spent the majority of my 20s in that building, the House of Hardcore. ECW home to misfits, to throwaways, and to diamonds in the rough, most of which went on to become very successful. I fell in love with wrestling all over again every Saturday night. And I'm about to do it again for different reasons. For tonight, I vie for Friday Night Future Shock Championship Gold against Lorraine Carter and some lemming. Lorraine, I don't hate you. I can't hate you. I fell in love with you. The first time I saw you, I was smitten because I knew you were the future of this sport. I knew you'd be the measuring stick, and you did not disappoint. Speaking of disappointment, I'll get to you later, Mr. Walter Main. I just want to address one thing. I hear in the locker room the rumblings. I hear from little birdies in my ear that apparently I'm on my last leg. This is my last hurrah. I've lost it. Lorraine Carter hasn't lost it. And he won't until he decides. But Walter Lane, he didn't lose it. He never had it to begin with. He's a zilch. He's a nothing. He's a schlub. And the only reason why he's in this match, the only reason why he exists in this match, is because of me. Because I have something to prove. Because I do not like three-way dances. Do not call it a triple threat in the House of Hardcore. Give it the respect it's due. I detest them. Hate them. Because almost always there's somebody in the three-way dance that doesn't deserve to be there. Guess who that is? Isn't me. Isn't Lorraine. But we'll let you have your little fun there, Walter. Now we're in the ring. And for 15 minutes, we're going at it. Crowds oohing and ahhing. By the 15:50 mark, I decide to play hurt. Mr. Carter and Mr. Main are going at it outside the ring, as planned. Mr. Carter inevitably gets the best of Mr. Main, as planned. I sneak up, and for the first time for tonight, I slap on anesthesia and put Mr. Carter to sleep. Now it's just me and Mr. Main. I take Walter, and I faceplant him with a DDT right on the concrete. I drag his carcass to the railing. I take his leg, I stick it in between the two railings, and I turn it. For when he wakes up, if he does, he'll have a hard time getting it out. Meanwhile, I ascend to the top of the turnbuckle, and with all of my weight, I come crashing down a la cannonball, right on his kneecap. You hear it pop, twist, one goes this way, the other goes that way, breakage. If Walter was sleeping, he's awake now, screaming in pain. The EMTs come in, They roll him off, and with that crowd, that ECWS crowd, na 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 na, na 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 na, hey hey hey, goodbye. Because they didn't want you to be there to begin with, Walter. They don't like you. Nobody cares about Walter Main. If you happen to slip, trip, knock both of us out, and pin one of us, you'd still have the worst title reign ever. But that's not going to happen. It's a moot point. Bye-bye. So now I slide back into the ring. Same thing with Mr. Carter. And we're nose to nose. And the crowd knows that something big is going to happen. Finally, they got that chump out of the way, and the real match is going to begin. And we don't disappoint. Blow for blow, move for move, it's brutality, it's technical wrestling, it's desperation, and the crowd eats it up. The ooh, the ah, 16 holy shits, 18 PWAs, 5 ECWs. They're on the edge of their seat because they're watching 2 magicians in the ring. But who wants it more? Who's willing to give it all? So toward the end, we are in battle, but every movement is slower. Every movement is with desperation. Every movement is pain. And just when one person gets another in their finisher, they kick out. Hell, I put Lorraine Carter in another anesthesia, and he escapes it. First time in history. I'm going crazy because it's never happened before. The crowd's going crazy because they know it's never happened before. But then I allow Mr. Carter to make just that little mistake because I had a dossier on him. I was just waiting for that moment. And I had to modify my promo cutter. Never done it before, and I did it. And I caught him 1, 2, 3. And we're both laying there as I roll off of him. Seems like an eternity. The crowd's on their feet. Standing ovation. Fight forever. Every chant you could possibly think of. We roll up, stand up, we look at each other, we shake hands, and then we hug. Out of respect, the crowd goes crazy. Lorraine, being the class act, straps the title around my waist, gives me another hug. We both point. I point at him. The crowd goes crazy. He leaves to give me my time. The crowd is yelling, "You deserve it." Tears are streaming down my face because this was what I wanted. This is what I dreamed of. They give me the mic. I make an impassionate speech. I thank PWA. I thank ECW. I thank my mom. And then I say that I'm going to give Walter Main a get well card. And then I throw the mic down to laughter. No one's taking this moment. This moment is mine. This moment is what I've dreamed of for years, sitting in the front row. From when I first started sitting in the back row, I made it to the front row. And then when I made it to the front row, I said, I'm going to make it to the ring, and I'm going to make something of myself, and I'm going to be champion one day. And this is the time. And no disrespect to Mr. Carter, you're not taking it. No one's taking this moment from me. This is my moment. And I refuse to give it away. I refuse. This is my era. This is mine. You can't take it. No one can take it. Because it's Killjoys. I am the pin. PWA is the balloon. And everyone's hopes and aspirations to get this title goes